My agency closes 30% of every discovery call we take. That's from initial call booked all the way through to signed retainer. And for context, most agencies that do under 50K a month are closing 5 to 10% on the same funnel. And the reason we hit 30% isn't because I'm a great salesperson. Honestly, I personally suck at objection handling. I've literally never had to develop the skill. The real reason is that the sales process at my agency is a system, not a vibe. We follow 3 very specific steps with an AI agent built into every single one. So in the next 15 minutes, I'll walk you through the entire process, including the BANT framework that only allows qualified prospects to take up our time, and exactly how we use AI in every single step. The entire process is a 3-step 2-call close framework. You start with a discovery call, then do an AI audit sent by Loom, and then you have a close call. Each step has a very specific goal, and each step has an AI layer running underneath it. This is the entire close process at my 7-figure agency end to end. So let's start at the top. The first step is the discovery call. It's 30 minutes on either Zoom or Google Meet. You have 2 goals on this call. Number 1 is to qualify the prospect using BANT, which I will explain in a second. And number 2, to sell them in on getting a free audit. So let me start with BANT, because if you don't have this framework already, this is the thing that changes everything. BANT is an old school sales qualification framework. It's 4 letters and basically 4 boxes that you have to check before the deal is worth pursuing. B stands for budget, which means can they actually afford you? If you charge 5K a month and they're hoping for an $800 a month retainer, just save everyone's time and politely send them away. A stands for authority. Are you actually speaking to the decision maker? Because if you're talking to a marketing manager who has to go pitch the founder afterwards, the deal will die in the next room. So you want to be speaking to the person who can say yes on the spot. N stands for need. Do they actually need this, or are they just window shopping? Real need means that they have real urgency, while window shoppers waste your time. And T stands for timing. Are they ready to sign right away, or are they just looking around for Q3? If the timing is off, it's very rare that a call will lead to a close even down the line. I have a few template questions that I go through to hit all these 4 boxes. For budget, I usually ask something like, how much are you spending on ads right now, and how much are you willing to scale to when we find the winning ads? For authority, I like to be straightforward and just ask, are you the one in charge, or do we need to run this by anyone else? For need, you can be a little more creative. I usually ask something like, if nothing changes in the next 6 months, what will your company look like? Would you be happy with the result? And then just dig deeper into what they say to understand what the real pain is. And for timing, just ask, when are you guys ready to get started if everything looks okay? The idea here is that if all 4 boxes are checked, closing them downstream becomes super easy. If any of them is off, the deal will die at some point. So don't invest the time in doing an audit if they're not qualified. Once BANT is qualified, the second job of the discovery call is to actually understand them as a person, because BANT qualifies them economically, but it doesn't tell you what they actually care about. So you want to dig deeper into their deepest concerns. Why are they actually looking for a new agency? Nobody books these calls just because. There's always a real reason underneath. Are they unhappy with their current agency? If so, what specifically? Is the founder still running the ads themselves and just trying to free up their own time? Or are the results just shit? The real pain isn't always what they say at first. You keep digging until you find the actual concern underneath the surface. And the final goal of the discovery call is to sell them on the audit. This is the actual gateway to the close. Once you've qualified them with BANT and you understand the deepest pain they have, you make the audit offer. Say something like, if you can give me read-only access to your ad accounts, I'll spend a few hours deep diving into everything that you've got running, everything that you're planning. I'll build you a complete ad audit and send it to you as a Loom. It's completely free. There's no commitment, and they almost always will say yes, because why would they say no? They're getting a free expert audit on their ad accounts with no obligations to do anything afterwards. And the beauty with the ad account audit is that it allows you to qualify them even more. You can look at how much they're spending and you can see how aggressively they are scaling. And that's the discovery call, done. The reason I focus so much on making sure the prospects are qualified before you sign them is because I have, through experience, understood how much of a shit show it is to sign a client that is a poor fit. They will drain your time, they will drain your team's time, and you won't make any money at the end of the day. Trust me. One important detail though, we have an AI running in the background the whole time. So we use Fathom, which is a note taker, and it is in the call from minute 1. It captures every single word that is said and builds the transcript automatically. And that transcript then becomes the input for the next 2 steps. And it's the reason every later AI agent in this process knows exactly what the prospect said. Okay, so they qualified, you sold them on the audit, you got read-only access to the account. Now we are in step 2, the ad account audit. What I need you to understand is that this is where the actual close happens, not on the next close call. If you deliver an audit with insane value, paired with the pitch deck we will build in the next step, they're virtually guaranteed to close. So be very diligent with this audit step. Here is how the AI does it. We give it access to the ad account through AdsVisor. It's just a platform that connects the AI and the ad account. And the AI then analyzes the entire account end to end. It looks at the media buying structure, the campaign architecture, the audience splits, the budget allocation, the attribution settings. It pulls every creative they have running. It looks at the angles. It looks at the visual quality. It identifies what's working and what isn't. It then finds the missing angles, like where there is a gap in the market that they're not exploiting yet. Maybe they're not targeting a key audience segment, or maybe their creative angles are all converging on the same emotional appeal when they should be testing wider. It looks at the conversion paths, the landing page performance, the funnel leaks, where prospects drop off, and then it generates a rough audit document covering all of that. This used to take me about 4 to 5 hours per prospect by hand. Now it is about 30 minutes of AI generation plus maybe another 30 minutes of me polishing it. The polishing is where the strategic angle goes in. So the AI gets you maybe 80% of the way there, and the last 20% is the part that makes the audit feel like it was built specifically for them. So I sharpen the language, I remove anything that sounds generic, I add these specific projections and tie every single recommendation back to the deepest pain point they have shared in the discovery call. So let me show you what an actual audit looks like. This one is a mock-up, but the numbers are from a real audit. It first of all gives the prospect an executive summary. It then gives an account snapshot, just explaining the numbers on a surface level. It then goes deeper into the media buying structure, explaining what's working, what's broken, or what's missing. It does a creative analysis, pulling the top performers and then breaking down the angles behind those. It does an angle gap analysis. It looks at the conversion path. It gives a projected impact of working with us over the next 90 days, and then just explains the next steps. And once this audit is polished, I record a Loom walking through it, 5 to 7 minutes max, just hitting the key insights and showing them what we would do differently. I then send the Loom and the audit doc to the prospect before the sales call. And here's the critical rule. They have to watch the Loom before the next call. I tell them this explicitly, something like, watch this before we get on the next call so that we can use that time efficiently and actually talk about the deal instead of walking through the audit together. They almost always watch it because people are curious about themselves, and now there's a personalized video about their own business sitting in their inbox. And the beauty with this approach is that by the time they're on the sales call, they've already seen what we can do. They've already imagined what working with us would look like. The trust is already built. The objections they might have had have already been preempted by the audit itself. So when they actually jump on the sales call, the deal is already half closed. The Loom is doing most of the heavy lifting in the actual sales. So now we are at step number 3, the close call. The first minutes are always spent discussing the Loom. They almost always have a few technical questions about the audit, like why are you recommending we change this creative when it's our highest spending one, or are these projections realistic for our category? You quickly answer those. The audit should be pretty clear on its own, but whatever specific things they want to dig deeper into, you handle. Then you transition into the pitch deck, where you explain how you work and you present the price. And here's the thing about the pitch deck. It's not a generic slide template. It's not a Canva deck you fill in for every new prospect. It's a hosted HTML page generated fresh by Claude for every single prospect we get in a close call with. And the reason it works so well is because of what Claude has access to when it builds the deck. It has every single Fathom transcript with the prospect. That's the discovery call plus any follow-ups. It has the audit document that you created in step number 2. It has every single email you have exchanged with them, and it has live access to their ad account through AdsVisor. So when Claude generates the deck, it's not pulling from a template. It's pulling from every piece of context that exists about this specific prospect and builds a deck around what they personally care about. Because here's the thing, every prospect cares about different things. Some prospects are numbers people. They want to see the spend, the revenue, the projections, the ROAS math, the growth curves, the payback period. So Claude builds the deck around the math, heavy on numbers, heavy on charts, heavy on financial outcomes. Other prospects are feelings people. They want to feel heard. They want to know that you understand their business and their pain, and they want to feel like you are the right partner, not just the right vendor. So Claude builds the deck around the language they used in the discovery call. And the cool thing is that the AI automatically picks up on which type of person they are based on how they talk and what they talked about. Numbers people use words like CAC, ROAS, MER, payback, LTV. Feelings people talk about their team, their stress, what's hard, what they care about, and what they want their business to feel like. So the same offer framed in two completely different ways, depending on who is on the other side of the call. Let me show you what an actual deck looks like. So this is a deck for the same brand I showed you the audit for. They were struggling with the fact that they weren't able to scale anymore, so they had hit a ceiling. So as you can see, the entire pitch deck is built around that premise. We start by just explaining their current situation, where they're at with the ROAS, with the spend and performance, with the creative situation, to show that we actually care about them and that we understand them. Then we pull out 4 very specific things they said that they struggled with on the discovery call, and we answer each of them in detail. Next, we explain why we are a good partner and kind of how our systems align with what they are looking for. We give a couple of case studies. I usually go a bit more in depth on these than just showing these points. I show the website. Of course, I don't show the ads manager because I'm not going to be showing the ads manager of our existing clients to potential clients, but you get the point. What we also like to do, and this is something you can do if you want to go a bit like above and beyond, and that is to create 5 ad concepts. So actually have your graphic designer or yourself, whoever is responsible for this, create 5 ad concepts the way you would do it if they were a client. And this is a game changer because nobody does it. No agency puts in this type of effort to actually close them. So when they see it, they're like, damn, these guys like really care. They really put in the effort to show me what's possible. So not required, but I really recommend it if you have the capacity to do this. Then we give a quick timeline, just explaining what the first 90 days working with us would look like. We break down the math of the opportunity cost, how much they're losing out on by not working with us. And lastly, we give them 2 pricing options. And this is key. You always want to give them 2 options to choose from because that puts them in a which to choose mindset and not if to choose mindset. They're not thinking, should I work with these guys? They begin thinking, which of these options should I go for? After this pricing slide, it's either a yes or a no, and then comes the objection handling. But here's the thing, most of the standard objections never actually come up in our calls. Why? Because the audit pre-handled them. The pitch deck pre-handled them. The prospect has already worked through the doubts in their own head before they ever sat down for the close. The 4 or 5 generic objections every agency hears, things like the price is too high, the timing, we want to try it internally first, they're usually already answered by something specific in the deck. And like I said at the beginning, I personally suck at objection handling. I've never had to develop the skill because the system removes the need for it. So if you build the process right, most objections never survive the audit and the deck combo. So let me zoom out for a second real quick. We have a 30% close rate for the full funnel from the book discovery call all the way through to signed retainer. Most agencies under 50K a month are at 5 to 10%. And the leverage isn't be a better salesperson. The leverage is the system itself. There are 3 layers of compounding advantage that make this system work. Number 1, you qualify hard at the top. Bad fit prospects never get past the discovery, so the audit time only gets invested in people who can actually sign and pay you. Number 2, you give massive value before asking for anything in return. The audit is genuinely useful to the prospect even if they don't end up signing, and that establishes you as the expert in their head, not just another vendor trying to close them. And number 3, you preempt the objections by deeply knowing the prospect by the time you pitch. The deck is built around their exact concerns, so most objections die in the prospect's own head before they're ever spoken out loud. And the AI is what makes the whole thing scalable, because doing this manually at 20 clients with constant new prospects coming in would consume 30 plus hours a month in sales work alone. That's basically impossible without dedicated sales staff. With AI integrated in the loop, it's more like 5 hours a month total. So that's the entire game, a real sales system with AI built into every single step that turns close rate from a personality trait into a process output. It's not about being charismatic. It's not about being a closer. It's about building a process that does the work for you. If you want my personal help AI enabling and scaling your agency, check out the first link in the description. It is a 4-minute video that explains how my one-on-one mentorship works. If it makes sense and you feel like we are a fit, you can book a call with me directly on that same page. I only work with a couple agency owners at a time because it takes a lot of my time, so the spots are limited. So click the link, watch the video, and I'll see you on a call.